been a casual watcher of Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Nicholas J. Fuentes, for a few months now. I've known about him since 2016, when there was, because he was on PBD today, the Patrick Bet David podcast, and he was talking about something that happened between him and Cassie Dillon. I guess she, recorded him without his knowledge or whatever. And I remember that happening. I remember him coming onto the scene, and the way he came onto the scene was him being uh, slandered as a racist. I guess, and now that when I saw that, it made sense to me. I thought, geez, that was the hubbub. I didn't know what happened. I didn't hear what actually happened, um, or see the video or anything like that. I just heard Nick Fuentes was this radical Nazi racist, blah blah blah. And then, of course, Trump had him at the White House, and people freaked out over that. Which, after watching for a few months, and of course seeing clips over the years, but after watching for a few months, the guy's obviously sharp, obviously has some political skills, some talent, but I think what he is lacking is I think he's lacking leadership ability. Um, and maybe I guess he has. I would say he has potential, but he's no Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, that was a man with vision. That guy knew where he wanted to take the country somewhere. He knew where he wanted to go, and he wanted to take us with him. Nick, I don't get that feeling from him. And I entertained it. This is before Charlie Kirk was even shot, but and I entertained. I watched his show here and there, but it was never. I never really felt. It was never gripping. The entertainment value wasn't quite there for me. There wasn't quite enough meat on the bone, but to me, he comes off as very reactionary. Like, I don't think I've ever heard him propose solutions. I don't think I've ever heard him white pill, or I mean, and the first time I ever heard him actually, sing someone's praises was after Charlie Kirk gets shot. Then he sings his praises. I mean, I don't have a problem with the guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with him. I actually, he went on Candace, and he's getting the rounds now. He was on Russell Brandon's show the other day, then on PBD's earlier. And like a month ago, he was on Candace Owens, and she totally ambushed him, and she pulled this really crappy Mean Girls stuff on him. I feel like, just ambushed him, and it was gross. And I really, I don't, I hate, honestly, I hate Candace Owens. I have ever since she was at the Daily Wire. She just, something about her was off-putting to me, and she's, no doubt a grifter. It's obvious now. But she really, messed with, and then slandered him on Tucker Carlson's show, which I thought was it was unjust, it was unfair, it was beneath someone. I mean, especially somebody, like, thank God that I never admired her, because I would have been so embarrassed to have admired a scumbag, like, or somebody that would speak behind somebody else's back like that. Like, you're gonna talk on camera about somebody, and like, call him a little gay man, and like, ad hominem attacks on an on a video that's gonna public video, public domain. It just, that to me, that's very low class. That's like a lack of grace. And it's also, I think it's got something to do with vanity too. Because Tucker, he's not a leader either. People would talk about Tucker for president. I'm like, no way. That guy, he knows how to, and we need people like these guys that can point to the problems that the rest of us don't see. The stuff that's staring us dead in the face, that sometimes you just need a fresh set of eyes, or a different set of eyes, to point stuff out. And those Fuentes and Carlson they have their place. But I don't think they're leaders. They don't really have solutions. It seems to be a lot of negativity and a lot of complaining. And Tucker Carlson, he seems to spend a lot of his time talking about other people and other people's, and like bashing people. And man, I can't go along with that. I just wasn't raised that way. You don't talk about people behind their back. Do unto others, man. I mean, truly. If you don't poison somebody's reputation, they can do that on their own. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't like somebody, you're going to damage their reputation. That's not right. With somebody else. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody damages a friendship with me, I'm not going to try to influence other people to not be friends with that person because I might say, yeah, he did this to me, but I'm not going to say, and try to put my weight into it and tell, like, you shouldn't hang out with that person. I won't hang out with you if you hang out. Try and pressure somebody. I would never do that. I would never speak ill of somebody. I mean, I might, express my displeasure or, what I don't like about them, but if they like them, no shade on that, because that, everybody is different with everybody, and the fact that they were doing that, it's so gauche. It's so tacky. It's tacky. I remember my dad telling me when I was younger, he's had all these little truisms that dumb people talk about other people, smart people talk about current events, intelligent people talk about ideas. And I swear it's like a little voice in the back of my head. Like if I'm every now and again I'll catch myself catching up with somebody or talking to somebody and they trigger a little bashing session where you just start kind of ripping on somebody that's not there, somebody you used to know, and I'll that'll ring in the back of my head like dumb people talk about other people, man. Like that is how I feel. Like it's such a waste of one's time and energy and mental cognitive power and ability. It's just to concern yourself with others. You should be concerned with yourself. Not concerned with what others are doing and mistakes others are making. You should be, to my mind, I guess it's my idea of masculinity. I find gossiping very, it's very feminine. And I mean, no shade on women, over that, but it's just not, honorable for a man to do it. And it's funny because I heard Nick Fuentes say on Patrick Bet David that gossip is a sin, and you must repent as a Catholic for that. And the commandment that you're breaking by gossiping is thou shalt not kill. I couldn't believe that. Like that's wild. That the Catholics or the way they see it is that you're damaging somebody. You're hurting them. You're taking away from them. You're causing damage, and reputation damage is damage, and you can get punitive damage from reputation savaging. And I thought that was wild. That's you're transgressing against thou shalt not kill when you gossip about people and slander people. Which I thought was rather interesting, and that all the more reinforces what I meant. Like you don't talk about other people, unless if you don't have anything good to say, that's not saying anything at all. Because that's like to my mind, if somebody doesn't like me, I would hope that they had the graciousness to not try to influence people to not like me. Like it's one thing to not like me, but to affect my well-being and because having friends and social connections, that's directly connected to your well-being. And when people are try to reputation savage or ostracize, they're trying to cause you harm. They're trying to cause you mental anguish. And it's unchristian. It's unchristian. It's not right. It's not right. It's objectively not right. And I got off on a tangent on that, but what I'm getting at is I just don't see Nick Fuentes is not our guy. I mean, I think there's a place for him in the movement, but and I see that they're polishing him or vetting him before they let him into the club. And I'm glad for Nick, but I just don't see him as the guy that's got the vision that's going to take us to the next level. I don't see that. I mean, honestly, right now, I mean, I think Charlie Kirk kind of was our vision. He was the guy with the vision. He was our ideas man. We're kind of, we're minus our ideas guy. I mean, the Democrats don't have an ideas man either, but that was our ace in the hole, was having the vision. So we got to sort this out. And just saying though, Nick Fuentes ain't it, Ben Shapiro ain't it, Matt Walsh ain't it. I just these, and the reason why I say that is they're I don't want to say they're too divisive, because I really hate all this new political speak, this correct speak. But they're all very rather divisive. Charlie Kirk was the one guy that never offended me. I mean, even Ben Shapiro, and it's not that Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh offend me. It's that it's like sometimes it's like sometimes I don't agree with them, and sometimes they just, I guess they do offend me. They do. It does rub me the wrong. They do rub me the wrong way sometimes. So does Michael Knowles. Charlie Kirk, not once. Not once was I ever offended by that man. And our idea guy, our thought leader, as it were, that guy's got to be. He's got to be that guy. He's got to be that guy that everybody will sign on to as a leader. He's got to be that guy that can get everybody on board. He's got to be the guy that holds a neutral position, a conservative neutral position, that every stripe of conservative will see common cause with, and seek to throw in their lot with. Because saying, bomb throwing and this divisive stuff, it's not that you're offending all the conservatives, but what you're doing is you're causing other influencers to have to create distance between you and them. Charlie Kirk, there was no daylight. Everybody else, all the other influencers, saw no daylight between them and Charlie Kirk. They would co-sign anything Charlie Kirk did. Anything. There was not one conservative of repute that would not co-sign anything Charlie Kirk was doing. Now, right now, I don't see anybody else who's doing or who's got it like that. Nick Fuentes, they're just starting to polish him and get him ready for the big leagues. But Ben Shapiro, even he has his enemies or his adversaries in the conservative movement. Matt Walsh does too. And so does Tucker. Everybody's got their little bickering, whispering behind closed doors. Everybody's got their little. It's all clicked up. And Charlie Kirk was the one guy that tied it all together. And we're searching right now. And I've noticed that Nick Fuentes was he. It seems to me that he is on the tip of everyone's tongue. And my analysis is he's not the guy. I think it's kind of obvious that he's not the guy. I don't think Not to take away from him or cast any shade. He's just not the guy. He's just not the guy. Neither is Tucker Carlson. I'm not sure who really is the guy. I mean, even DeSantis. He like Charlie Kirk. I would say Charlie Kirk was similar to DeSantis, but he had more conviction. He had conviction. You wanted to follow that guy. You wanted to follow that guy into battle. And some of these other guys, it's like, I would follow DeSantis, but the problem is I don't think he'll go. He has the conviction, the courage of his convictions. I don't think he will. He will. I don't think that he will stay the course and go the whole 9 yards. Charlie Kirk, there was no doubt in my mind that guy was going to go as far as it took to get to where he wanted to go. And I was on board with where he wanted to go. And I just I don't have that kind of faith in anybody right now, any politicians. Maybe other than Trump and J.D. Vance, maybe Rubio, the guy, like the MAGA high command, as it were. But I don't know. I mean, and who knows what could happen? Nobody knew that this was going to happen to Charlie Kirk, and nobody knows what's going to happen next. If we've learned one thing from this whole Charlie Kirk, this whole sordid Charlie Kirk affair, this macabre whole deal, we've learned that to expect the unexpected. That no matter what the future looks like, all we can do is speculate. We really have no idea what events will occur. Like Trump almost got assassinated. I mean, we didn't see that coming, and thank God it didn't happen. But Charlie Kirk being assassinated, now all of a sudden there's a vacuum. But you know what? When every like they say, every time a door closes, other doors open. So that vacuum, it will cause. I mean, there is a vacuum, and somebody will fill it, and we will keep looking until we find that person. It's as simple as that. But I just wanted to say I appreciate the new subscribers. I appreciate the fresh eyes, and I just wanted to know that I see you guys, and I love the comments and the feedback, and if it's not bothering you too much, if you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. But that's it on this one, guys. Over and out.